Yeah, one more minute. We just letting people join. One more minute. Oh, yeah. Let's get ready to turn this music down, man. Let's get to the show. All right, that music was coming on. I know I could be with the music all day. There we go. Stop the
A
music.
damn good song to lead into, though.
It was, man. Perfect song to lead into, man, for this to get everybody warmed up, hyped up. Such a beautiful day. You know, wonderful day.
Hey,
Subject
this
is
is a
not so
beautiful
bright.
day, man. How is
Subject
this
is
a
not so
beautiful
bright.
day?
But it is a beautiful day, man. You got to be happy you're breathing, you're alive, we're living further. It could be a lot other things going on,
Me and
right? We
Nick,
always blessed.
pretty up north. It's still pretty warm out. It's
Yeah,
October
still pretty
1st.
exactly. Still pretty warm out. Man, believe me, I had 71. Came out, said, "Ooh, this feeling good." You know what I mean? But I'm sure later on tonight it'll be like 31. You know, you know how I go around here. You can't tell it. Magnus, what's going on? Dap me up. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and minimize this. I'm gonna pull it up full
Well,
screen. I hope I
personally,
don't pop, lock, and drop. If I
want to
pop, lock, and
personally,
drop, y'all, my bad. Okay.
I want to
But go
yeah, go
ahead,
quick.
man.
Want to personally welcome Alex from the Unlocked Twitch Discord. Welcome.
Dap me up, Alex. Harry Knuckle and all. Big salute to Alex. Thank you, man. Shane, I see October 2nd there a little early, Shane. All right, so you can go ahead and start watching all your scary movies. You know, get ready. Break down the month. It's coming, man. Halloween. It's going to be a very exciting month. Yo.
I see we got Shane on here doubling our views with the Facebook and the YouTube account.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, Shane. Wait, that's what... Man. Boy, I'm about to salute you again. I can't give you too many salutes, Shane. I'll be making everybody. But yo, this is crazy. Now, I know, Dr. Specimen, we've been talking about the show. We want to talk about a lot of, modding topics, but this one hit the desk, and it was, we got to talk about this, right?
I wanna preface this. We did have a couple topics we were going to talk about today. I think most people can agree in this current moment is a little bit more important. And you know what? Quite frankly, pretty big one. Could have some deep conversations here. And like we said in the past, obviously I admittedly kind of dropped the ball a bit last week on this show. So what we want to make of this, if you weren't here to hear about this specific show on Tuesdays, our normal show is on Sundays. This is our Tuesday show, a little bit more laid back, more directly related to modding and scene type stuff, and a lot more. We want a lot more chat input. Really, we want our Sunday show is really more of like a sit down news, just kind of listen, put it on when you're in the car, and this is the shit that you want to be here for. To just get pumped up and get involved, have
Jump
some fun.
in, say something, burn the chat up, whatever you're feeling, whatever you know about the subjects. We want to hear what you want to talk about. If it's something you want to talk about, you want to hear, that's what you're right. That's what we want it for. And I'm gonna go straight into the story, Dr. Specimen, because I know you have the actual tweet. Now we're gonna be talking about, and I want to make sure I'm pronouncing this correct. Is it Ryujinx?
I think it's Ryujinx. I think that's how it's pronounced. I think some
Okay.
people say like they kind of slur, like they're like Ryujinx, but I think you have to. It's like Ryujinx, but I don't know.
Okay. So the popular Nintendo Switch emulator, Ryujinx, has shut down following pressure from Nintendo. Now, Ryujinx, for those who do not know, is an open source emulator for Windows, Linux, and Mac OS. They were directly by Nintendo. And this is a little bit different, the change of circumstances, which they were offered. Okay. And I want to say offered because in other circumstances, it wasn't so much of a reach out versus a cease and desist. But this was more of an agreement with Ryujinx. Now, this agreement led to the removal of the emulator's organization and its related assets. I believe if you go to the website and try to hit the download link, it's going to be a blank white page, from my understanding. The news was officially announced on Ryujinx X page, which Dr. Specimen will be covering. But it's where one of the developers shared a brief message. And it was one of the developers, and the way the message kind of came across, you'll read, but it seems like it wasn't a lot of, it was one thing sure, it wasn't going to be continuing, but there was talks behind the scene. There we go. It's a nice little breakdown for you. All right, now, Dr. Specimen, I'm not looking at the screen. Let me get pulled up. Do you have that tweet? Let's go ahead and get that tweet pulled up. John Doe. Big salute, John Doe. I see you there. Chelsea's Way. Shout out to the ladies. And Slick, what's going on, Dap me up. Okay, there we go.
Hold on one second.
Man. Go and handle it. So, this right here is the actual tweet that was put up. Now, let's read through it, shall we? Yesterday, GDK, that's kind of crazy, yo. I can't even read. See, I'm from Illinois, guys, and when I can't even start the sentence off. I can't read that anymore. I apologize for even saying
Shit. Here, Nick, how about this? Let me pull this up real quick. I got to get on a phone call real quick. Unfortunately, it's unfortunate timing. I'll pull this up. You can read through. Actually, you can kind of read part of it through there.
That's what I said.
I will be back in one moment.
All right, go ahead. So yesterday, and I said that, everybody, my Illinoisans, shout out. I'm not going to read that no more because I'm not into the gang banging and all that. All right, but I know what that means. Some people in Illinois know what that means. Okay. But yesterday, Chan was contacted by Nintendo and offered an agreement to stop working on the project, remove the organization and all related assets he's in control of. While awaiting confirmation on whether he would take this agreement, the organization has been removed. So I think it's safe to say what the outcome is. Rather than leave everyone here with panic and speculation, I decided to write this short message to give you some closure. And these words are of my own, so I don't speak for anyone else here. Just remember that when you're reading this, all right? Thank you, everyone who has contributed code, documentation, or issues, reports, anything to the project. Thank you all for following us through the development. I was able to learn a lot of really neat things about games that I love, enjoyed them with renewed qualities and in unique circumstances. And I'm sure you all have experiences that are similarly special. I'm extending my own massive thanks to our moderation team who have been here through some rough circumstances and always found ways to make light of it. Thank you. That's beautiful. I damn near want to shed a tear for you, my guy. I damn near want to shed a tear for you. I'm not going to lie to you. Now, let's go ahead. While he's on that, we can bring me back up. Boom, full screen. There we go. So, everybody's wondering, Ryujinx down. Let's get to the real. I don't like to sugarcoat shit. I like to get to the real. That's what the show is about. How soon will we see another one? Chat, let's get to it. How soon will we see another one? How fast? How fast will we see another one? I need to know how fast it's going to pop up. Okay, Neo, what's going on? Dap me up. Harry Nuck's on. How fast? How fast? I'm telling you, we're probably going to see one in a week. 1. 2. Ryujinx going down. Yuzu went down. I'm not gonna lie, Nintendo. Should I wait for Doc? No, you know what, Dr. Specimen, you gone. I'm sorry, Dr. Specimen. I gotta do this. I gotta do it. Nintendo, what the hell is your problem, bro? Do you just hate game preservation? Do you think every single one of your NES titles is about to bring in billions of dollars? Is that what you think? Do you really think? I'm going to tell you one. Mr. Dreams Punch-Out. Not Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. Mr. Dreams Punch-Out. Wasn't that what it's called? Do you think that's going to rake in millions of dollars? I don't think it is. Matter of fact, I don't think you're going to offer it. I don't think you're going to sell it. I don't think you're going to put it up anywhere. This is disgusting work, Nintendo. We are sick of, first of all, I'm not going to say my age, but we want game preservation. You know why? I think I'm entitled to be 80 years old and to go to some sort of museum and to be able to see an old Atari, a Nintendo, to be able to have my grandchildren be able to see how these games were developed, what games were like for us, and what we enjoy. Everyone else gets to have it in every other art form. Every other art form. Why not in video games? You just want to milk and, oh my God, that shit is disgusting. It's disgusting, man. Every single penny. You already got subscription fees left and right. Half-baked ass games that you paying full money for that ain't even ready. Grand Theft Auto Trilogy, don't even start, Nintendo. Okay? When you get, look, Switch 2 could have. Look, man, I'm mad right now. I'm not trying to go off that bad, Magnus. I'm not. I want to go off on Nintendo righteously because I could really go off on them. Okay? But this is bullshit, man. My fault. I went on a rant, man. I'm so glad. They was going to get a full rant. I don't know if people want me to go. This is some bullshit, man. We ain't going to have no game preservation ever, Dr. Specimen. Ever. Ever. I don't think Nintendo's going to ever allow game preservation to exist within Nintendo. I won't say every other. I won't say Microsoft. I won't say Sony. I won't say Sega. I won't go into any other companies. But Nintendo has made a statement this year in 2024. They have made a statement more than any other year. They are coming for anyone who is making noise. Okay? Because it's only if you're making noise. Nah, I'm lying. Even the people who ain't making noise getting taken down too. All right? And I understand Nintendo has a right to their intellectual property, and I don't condone piracy, because if I'm the owner of Nintendo and the piracy is taken away even from $1, I want my one damn dollar. I respect that. But at the same time, if you're not gonna sell a game, I don't think that's fit. What? Dr. Spence, my fault. I went off. My bad.
Honestly, you took the damn words out of my mouth. You know, I mean, especially because, well, so something really interesting that I've been noticing is the way people have been interpreting the Ryujinx announcement is that he wasn't even necessarily threatened. He was, I think Nintendo basically went to him and was like, listen, you live in Brazil, I don't know, your president probably doesn't really give too much of a shit about us or our bottom line, so we doubt your government's really going to go in favor of us. So here's the deal. We give you $50,000 and you shut your fucking emulator down. And he's like, I live in fucking Brazil. I'll take $50,000 because that's like $200,000 worth of purchasing power down here. So,
and, hey, developers sign some NDAs. I'll break you off a couple dollars.
Yeah, exactly. They see it as, but here's my thing though. How is Nintendo so corporate that they don't know what open source is? They even have open source licenses, dedicated section in the Switch operating system, and yet they don't understand the concept of fucking Hydra. You cut Ryujinx off, one of two things is going to happen. Either a new emulator from the ground up is going to come out. Maybe it's closed source, which would make it develop a lot faster because they can use dirty tricks, which guess what? Nintendo would like even less, but they could do it using dirty tricks and do it anonymously, have probably a better emulator than Ryujinx or Yuzu ever were because they can use those dirty tricks, and they could develop it and distribute it through anonymous sources. Yeah, it might make it a little less easy to find, but you know damn well that the people who are already using Yuzu and already using Ryujinx are looking at this and they're going, well, what the fuck? What's the next thing then? And they're going to go on Reddit and be like, what next thing? And they're going to be like, actually, there's this brand new thing coming out called Ryujinx, and it's developed by a anonymous guy, and guess what? You can get it on this Telegram group.
Random groups. You preaching, man. This is ridiculous. That's all that's going to happen. Now, okay, for game preservation, right? Let's play into that. We have a lot of people, and I want to really dive into psychology of that. You got a lot of people out here, and I'm going to be honest. A lot of y'all out there talk about game preservation, and you really just want free games. All right, let's keep it 100. Let's keep it 100. All right, and I feel you. I feel you. I feel you. Free games. But let's get off the free games for a moment. Not just free games, you know what I mean? Because everybody can get free games. Let's speak on things like, for instance, we got company. I think Ubisoft was one with The Crew, and we got different laws that are changing, as far as our rights to licenses and what we're being told.
Knowing that we're getting licenses, like in California.
Yeah, I know, you're right. Now, do you feel, Dr. Specimen, that this is all money? Or do you feel as though, because Nintendo, and this has been since their development, right? Because we remember why the Sega Genesis was created. Multiple people being turned down from opportunities of even developing games or doing something for Nintendo. They've been very strict on their IP. Do you think it's a dollar, or you think it's just Nintendo being Nintendo?
So here's what I think. I think Magnus hit that shit, that not UB Trash, hit it right on the head. Well, yes, he hit it on the head with UB Trash, but he hit it on the head with this, okay? Switch 2 could have ran on it.
Right.
Now, I don't necessarily think that with a month of tweaking, Ryujinx itself would have ran Switch 2 games. But here's what I do think. I look at this past year of really strange behavior from Nintendo, namely what we saw in that Ryan Michael Daly modded hardware lawsuit. And what we saw in that, and we also saw it in the Archbox lawsuit against the guy who ran JITS.
We did.
And what we saw is that Nintendo offered 2 modded hardware into JITS, or to Archbox, that they gave them a solid fucking chance to back the fuck off, stop what they're doing, and they leave them alone.
They did.
Now,
they did.
There's 2 prongs to that. I think prong number 1 is they might have realized that their reputation for being assholes that come out of nowhere and start suing people was getting too strong, and normal people were starting to go, I don't know, man, they're assholes. I really don't want to give them money. But what I also think is that they saw that the Switch 2 was going to come out, and that they had did a very piss poor job at stopping a lot of what was going on the original Switch. They got Team Executor fairly quickly. They were doing a good job getting those Cs, getting people banned on custom firmware and whatnot, but they weren't getting it taken down. They weren't able to use a show of power. So what we see in this past year, and even 2 years, I think it was last year when was it last year when Lockpick got DMCA'd? I think that was last year.
It had to be last year. Had to
have been last year. So Lockpick, something fairly innocuous, open source, purely legal as far as I'm aware, because Hecate, whatever, I don't even know how to pronounce it. I pronounce it Hecate usually, but whatever. Yeah. Has a built-in lockpick feature, and generally speaking, the Atmosphere crew and the Hecate crew are fairly buddy-buddy. And Atmosphere fucking would kill a god if it allowed them to be just that much closer to not infringing directly on Nintendo. So, if those two are close together, and Hecate has a built-in lockpick, then that means that Hecate itself, or the lockpick itself, probably pretty clean software, and that even got a DMCA. How Atmosphere itself hasn't been DMCA'd, I'm actually kind of surprised, because that would be the power show of all fucking power.
I keep saying, I always think it ain't my bad, because I like my guy.
Although it might be because Michael Cyrus is in France, but you damn well know if they get him extradited the same fucking way they tried to do Max Luan. And guess what?
In France, you gonna tear up some of the. They ain't even reason. It ain't that deep.
I made a joke about Max Luan blowing Emmanuel Macron, but if Max Luan is somebody who is very clearly somebody who has more going on behind the scenes than just creating a single Switch tool, or even multiple Switch tools, you damn well know Michael Cyrus is never going to get extradited in his life, even if Nintendo fucking threatened the government of France for some reason. So, but where I'm going with this, right, is you see that, Magnus, I'll answer your question in a second. You see what went on with Lockpick. You see what went on with Ryan Michael Daly and Archbox. You see what's going on now with all of the emulators. You see what was going on with the MiGSwitch URLs. You see what happened with Team Executor. Really, you could argue
This
that
year.
that was step one with Team Executor. You know, that's back in 2020. You go back to last year for Lockpick. You go to this year, and you've got two people, two emulators. That is you go with a seller of a brand new flashcard. You go with a notorious pirate, and you go with the two real only emulators that exist. I know there's like the one being created, or I think it's a 3DS emulator actually. So never mind. I think
Yeah.
these are the two only emulators, like independent, not forked emulators
Yeah.
for the Switch,
Correct.
and they're both gone now. This can't not be related to the Switch 2. Nintendo could have did this last year. They could have did this in 2022. They could have did this in 2017 when Yuzu got announced. Everyone was like, "You fucking morons! You're making a Nintendo Switch emulator. You're gonna get DMCA in a week." And it took.
Yeah.
I think it came out in 2017. I don't think it took till 20. I think 2017, the very first homebrew was like being made for the Switch using that Switch thing, like the thing where you go to the website, it's on version 3. And then there was some light homebrew getting made, like very light homebrew getting made. You were able to run that on Yuzu. And games came a year or so later, I believe, but you still had the core um, framework of the Switch that could run very basic stuff working in an emulator in the year of release. That is, I think that's still unprecedented.
Yeah.
And now it's a
I
little,
agree.
it's a little unfair because yeah, most consoles usually come out in November. So okay, yeah, if a PS5 emulator came out in January of 2021, I'd still, that still counts. But I don't think that's happened yet. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong. That within a year of release, an emulator has already come out. Please
Let me
correct me if I'm
ask
wrong.
this. I
And let
think
me
that go
just
ahead, go
super
ahead.
quick.
Go ahead,
I
go
just
ahead.
want to say, Magnus, kind of it has built-in lockpick. You have to technically download the lockpick binary yourself, but the way it works is you download it, you put it into the bootloader folder, the Hecate folder, and then there's an option that is it comes with Hecate and it's grayed out, but you download the binary and it's no longer grayed out and it boots the payload. It's so it's kind of a workaround, but it's clear that
Yeah.
they wanted a key dumping function built in, but they thought the easiest and evidently the safest way, given that it got DMCA'd, the easiest and safest way was to just include a built-in redirect because it's such a core functionality you would want in a universal bootloader, but not include it with the bootloader and just tell people to go get it themselves, basically.
All right, so I'm gonna play devil's advocate here, man, because you
Here we
mentioned
go.
something. Like I said, I like to get to the bread and butter of it, right? One of the things you mentioned is that Magnus touched on it a bit, which is the Switch 2 technology. If I'm Nintendo, do I have the right to cease and desist a project or at least stop it in any way legally if a future development or project that I'm making is going to be detrimentally hurt financially by your software? Do I have that legal right to do that? Because I would think Nintendo, if they have a plan and if you have an emulator, no matter if that emulator came out before your plan came, it kind of aligns with what you're going. And technically, if you're utilizing it off the backbone of Nintendo, because if there's no Nintendo Switch games, you don't have it. So, does Nintendo have some legal ground right there?
I think that Nintendo doesn't need to disclose that. Nintendo can know on the back end that they got the Switch 2 coming, and they could have never anticipated how exponentially fast the Switch scene would have grown when they released the Switch. The Wii U, it had a modding scene, and yeah, you could pirate on it, but like
It
it was
wasn't
such a
popular.
dead system. The people who had it were hardcores in the sense that they probably weren't really gonna touch modding. People don't really care about even its modding. No, there's some great fucking people. Gary, oh, what the fuck's his name? How am I forgetting his name? Uh, oh, Gary. I'm so sorry. Not Gary Bowser. I keep having Gary
I
Bowser
know.
pop up in my head. It's not Gary.
I knew
Gary
you were close.
Odernick. Gary Odernick. That's his name. God damn. Gary Odernick and Maskell, I think, are how their names are pronounced. Sorry if I butchered. I think they're both German. Um, Amazing developers, amazing people. They're really like just nice people. And they've been carrying the whole Wii U scene, doing a damn good job at it, and putting just as much effort in as you see getting put into other scenes. Like, even though the Wii U is a really low-selling console, it has a lot of potential. It's a GameCube, a Wii, and a Wii U in one. You can do so much with it. There were really good games released for it. They put a lot of fucking effort into it. But they weren't really around. And the methods that were available, some of them were pretty archaic. If you bricked the Wii U, it was a fucking bitch to repair. It still kind of is to a certain extent. Although Gary did kind of fix that with his bootloader or his
Yeah, it
cold
was like
boot
an
hack.
automatic. Yeah, that was like a fix
But,
all.
but for a long time, wasn't really the best mounted console to have. So when the Switch comes out, and they're like, okay, it's going to be targeted, but we have a CPU from a reputable vendor that's been tested over years, and the fuck you mean that media suck up mode? What do you think I'm talking about?
Now, that's I'm glad that's right there because we on some good. Remember, like I'm playing the devil's advocate part there. I want to
Well, but
ask
hey,
this.
I'm just sorry. Magnus had me fucking distracted there. No, where I
Go
was
ahead.
going with that, right, was so Nintendo couldn't have ever guessed the meteoric rise of the Switch scene. I think Nintendo is fucking horrified of that happening again. Hacked to the largest extent you could physically hack a device within a year launch, and after patching it, having it be reopened in about 2 years after that, about a year and a half, maybe not even a year and a half, because the Team Executor announced the mod chips in December 2019. So yeah, about a year and a quarter ish, they already had it wide open again. And yeah, you needed a mod chip, but you get some money, you get someone to do it for you. So really, if you need money, if you want to do it, you can do it. So they had no real period of time, no meaningful period of time, I would say, where the Switch was totally secure, where a majority of systems were fully secure from any kind of mod. They would sacrifice half the population of Japan if it meant that never happened again. I think that's why they're trying to scare people now, so new developers don't sign on and get into the scene when the Switch 2 comes out. We saw a lot of new developers come around when the Switch scene started. Like, I had never known Michael Sires. Now I think he had worked on like Luma
I
a
didn't know
little
nothing
bit
about mine.
before, but I think it was Aurora, right? It was like the lead of the Luma project,
Yeah.
and then Sires I think worked part time on. I might be right. I know he did a lot of Pokemon stuff too, right? But really, I think most people know him from Atmosphere, and so a lot of new developers signed on. A lot of new developers seem to sign on every time a console gets hacked. Assuming that the like Xbox 360, Team Executor kind of got carried along, but that's because it was more of a corporate centric modding scene, right? So
Yeah.
Nintendo's like, we can make sure that no new talent gets signed on, and we can either legally force away or scare away the current talent to not touch our next system. Is it going to work? I doubt it. Now, my guess is that the Switch 2 is probably going to require a hardware mod. I don't think a software mod is going to come out very soon for it. We're just going to have to wait and see. So, some anonymous guy in China, can sell whatever the fuck he wants, and it's not really going to be that big of a deal for him. And, only the usual suspects are going to be able to actually mod the console. But I don't know. I think it's just Nintendo paranoia. That's the long and the short of what I think's going on here.
All right. Now, I want to ask because I love to. We getting pretty deep into it. We doing good. So let's talk about Ryu Jinx. Ryu Jinx. Do you think there was? Because me personally, after seeing the way Yuzu fell, do you think Ryu Jinx had any chance if they were to not agree? If they were to say, we're just gonna have to find out. What do you think would have happened? And do you think that it even would have been any close of a case, or you think this would have been open and shut fast?
I think there's a couple of angles of this. Number one, as I said, project lead or developer, I don't know exactly what title he went by or if he had a title, but the guy who was like the head of the Ryu Jinx project was Brazilian, so not American, and not part of a country that probably really gives much of a shit about the United States' copyright law. And I brought up their president earlier. Not here to shit on their president. Plenty of people there like their president, and that's fine. Thing is, he doesn't like America very much, and or more so American policy. I mean, maybe he doesn't mind American citizens, but he doesn't particularly care for American policy. I feel like if he were to get sued by Nintendo in Brazilian court for a huge, like an insane sum of money, I could see the possibility of someone getting in contact with someone in the Brazilian government and basically having them force away the lawsuit, so to speak, and basically saying, we don't give a fuck about your copyright law. We're Brazil. We are not the United States. And you're a Japanese company. So we don't give a fuck about Japan's copyright law either. We are Brazil. Go away. Leave our citizens alone. And on top of that, we look at it compared to Yuzu. A lot of people that I've seen have basically been saying Ryujinx did nothing wrong compared to Yuzu. Now, if a court case were to happen, you'd be damn sure Nintendo, if there's something they could find on the guy behind the scenes, they're going to find it. Now, if they know that he personally pirates, I don't give a shit. That's not important. Maybe it's important to having them win a lawsuit, but in terms of court of public opinion, in terms of do they quote unquote deserve it, no, doesn't really, I don't think that applies. The question is, was Ryujinx being created in a way to facilitate piracy? Was it being created to preempt games before they were officially released, like Yuzu was? It wasn't. I don't believe Ryujinx ever had a Patreon. I'm gonna fact check this right now. Their website's
Not sure. I'm not sure at all either. If they ever had a Patreon, was making $1.
I am
not too familiar. But Yuzu, we know what was going on with Yuzu, and that was a lot of the issue, right? Of the financial benefits that they received.
Oh shit, they did have a Patreon actually. Never mind.
So, but you still mentioned the way it was handled. Notice Yuzu was a cease and desist situation, if I remember correctly, versus a mutual agreement, pretty much, because Nintendo reached out and there was an agreement.
Okay, so actually, I'm looking at this right now, and it looks like Ryujinx. So they did not make early access build a focus of their Patreon. They had a max roll where you could get early testing builds, but it looked like it was more of a proper beta testing regimen than please give us money to get the versions of the emulator that will play the games before release. It's so I'll read exactly how they word it. Your Patreon nickname. So this is for their $20 tier, their high roller tier. It's their highest one. And it says, you will also be included in discussion about in-flight development projects, the future of the emulator, and early testing if you wish. And it's pretty far down the list. It's like very bottom. Like you have to click to show like what you get by paying the highest tier. It's not advertised at the top. And it even had if you wish. It's like and we'll throw you in an early build. But they don't say, they don't have big. I don't know if I can pull up the Yuzu Patreon still.
But one thing's for certain, Patreon. I see that as an automatic L. Like once you receiving any sort of revenue, and that's where I don't agree as well, right? Because I do believe if you're a developer and you're creating a project, you don't just work for free unless you have a whole nother job and you just want to waste your time. So I do think developers need to receive some financial gain, and Patreons are wonderful for that. So I love it. But in this case, for Nintendo, it's very easy for me to say that you receive financial gain based off of.
There literally was an early access tier for Yuzu, and they had a big thing on their website about having an early access one. They advertised it loud, and if you even go to the download page for Yuzu,
Yuzu was throwing that thing.
Yeah, they even have if you're a Patreon subscriber, the early access chance. Yeah, they were big. So
get your money. I ain't mad at that.
I don't know about the legality of them getting money at all. But I think the problem Nintendo had, if I remember looking at their lawsuit, it didn't mention them necessarily being anal about just specifically them getting money. It was about specifically them advertising it like putting full emphasis on pay for us, give us money so you get an early access version that plays games earlier. Sometimes a little bit too early, and everyone knew that, and that was apparently known on the back end, and that's
And
what was proven in
also,
that.
didn't Steam have an ad with Yuzu on it?
Yes, yes, it did.
I
Oh,
remember.
that
I
that's
remember.
almost that's
Because
almost
that's
that almost
kind of when
a little bit
everything
more dark.
started. Yeah, because I was gonna say that kind of to me seemed like when everything started rolling. Right the moment it got
That was
put
in
on the PC.
2020 though.
It seemed like Steam was flirting with the idea of you could technically be satisfied by getting a Steam Deck versus a Nintendo Switch because you can play YouTube. I mean,
I
you can
think it
use
is.
YouTube. Excuse me.
I think it is very unlikely that Nintendo heard about, verified, and sent a legal threat to Valve saying, "How fucking dare you?" within hours of that video, because they took that video down within hours. It wasn't like it was up for a week and it went away. It it well,
Facts.
yeah, it's about Steam, but the thing is though, that says a lot about Switch emulation, that Valve,
I
one of the
know.
top
That's what I
four
mean.
gaming companies,
Knows
could,
how big it is, right? And use it. I agree. That says more of a
or at the
testament.
very least, that someone at Valve, some random guy at Valve, had the production team go up to him and be like, "Hey, can we borrow your Steam Deck for a second? We got to make a quick video on this new update." And that guy, that random Valve employee, happened to have Yuzu on his Switch. That says
He was
even
playing that
even
Zelda Breath of the Wild.
even if Nintendo, even if Valve wasn't trying to do that, the fact that that happened on accident, that says a lot, and I think that pissed Nintendo off more than anything. That like it'd be like if, like imagine if Microsoft did that, or Sony did that, or if
Yeah, that's
Nintendo
crazy.
did that to
I ain't gonna
Microsoft
lie,
or
that's crazy.
Sony. That is, I'm surprised Nintendo didn't sue Valve for it, even if it was an accident. That they could have come up with something where, like, you are promoting piracy and a violation of our intellectual property, and as distinguished businessmen of the industry, you should know better. You were a disgrace to our industry. Like, the fact that they didn't go like full insult mode on Valve is
Kind of crazy.
surprising. The fact that they didn't
I
touch
agree.
that, even though, yeah, it's sort of on Yuzu, not really on Valve. It just, I don't know, that surprises me on its own. But yeah, I think
Okay.
Nintendo realized that Yuzu would be actually, you know what? No, you know what? I'm actually going to take this exact opposite direction. This is going to
Let's
just
go.
be the stance I take because we don't know better.
Okay.
I think that Nintendo tried as long as they could to find something to get them on, and with probably a small combination of the lead developer not being in America or
Okay.
Japan or even Europe, and the fact that or with that being one of the factors, I think they also found out guy's just fucking clean. He's just a good guy. He doesn't pirate Nintendo shit. He didn't have the intention to have usually be made for piracy. He's releasing shit only in reasonable time frames from when the game gets released to confirming that it's compatible and making it compatible. He's making sure that every piece of code is clean room reverse engineered and that they're not using any dirty tricks to make it. And they realized we don't have a single fucking case against this guy. We either got to bribe him, or if he didn't take it, then that's that. We have to live for the rest of
Mm.
this console's life cycle with an emulator that plays games better than the console that we are selling, and there is nothing we can do about it. And so I think Nintendo decided, you know what? We're not going to play games. We're not going to offer him $2,000. We're not going to provide empty legal threats. We are just going to make sure that this man is enriched for the rest of his life in Brazil, because again, purchasing power, a single dollar has a lot more purchasing power in Brazil
It does.
than in America. So they probably want, we can give this guy $100,000. We will save $5 million over the next year, and we just set a man up for life and probably his children. It's a win-win, and we lose, but this guy probably going on to live a great life. I would like to believe, or they gave him, it's also possible that they didn't maybe give him legal threats and they were wording it that way to not start a stir up, make people
Okay.
believe that he was given a good deal, like an actually good deal, to back away and
Okay.
not, they were like, we don't need to be the catalyst for another bunch of Nintendo hate or something,
Yeah.
and then Nintendo gives us shit because, hey, we gave you a good deal and now you just stirred up a mob against us. So I don't
Makes
know.
sense.
Maybe they softened the blow a little bit for us so we would stay calm. I don't know. But if we take them at their literal word, um, then I don't know. Maybe this guy's set up for life, and congratulations.
Maybe. Now, I'm going to go ahead and pull up the page here. I'm sure it should be sharing now. We should all be seeing it now. He pulled up the tweet. Wario64 even retweeted, okay? Now, this seems to be, I just want to read some of the tweets. We like to go through Twitter. Now, Twitter can get crazy. So if we do come across anything that gets too crazy, we will simply scroll up or scroll down. We will not be running into that. But knickknacks. The amount of people absolutely ripping Nintendo a new one for shutting down an emulator for their only console on the market right now is wild. These are not people arguing for game preservation for older games no longer in circulation. 95% just don't want to pay for games. And he's getting likes, as I said. Now, Dr. Spencer, this is something I mentioned earlier about there's a lot of people who just want free games, right? I even though I didn't own the entire NES library of however 1,000 games. Let's just throw out a number. 1,000 games. I didn't own the entire library. But now, being that I owned, let's say, 75 games, why am I not entitled? Why can't I just download everything? Why can't I just play everything? And typically, who are you? And let's be honest on this. Who are you finding that is saying, I'm going to download only the ROMs I own when they go to download these packs? These packs are as small as a gigabyte, and it's downloading in a flash of a second. Why would I not download the entire pack and just go through what I need or anything? Like, how, is that, like, I kind of agree to a certain point. Like, everybody's getting free games at some point. Is that not safe to say? Every single person. He said 95%. I'll go even higher. I'll say 98%.
I just don't know. That's the thing. I know that there's obviously plenty of people who are gaming the system, but I think what's tearing me up right now is if this had happened within a year of the Switch being released, I could accept this. It just boggles my mind that it took till 2024. By 2024, there's no point besides to be annoying. There's just no point. If the predictions were correct and Yuzu had been shut down instantly, people would have been annoyed, but everyone would have been like, well, it was worth a shot. But all right, fine, we'll wait in 7 years, and then someone will make an emulator like a year after the Switch comes out, and people will already have ways to dump the games, and everything will be fine. But we're so deep into this now that while I kind of do get this guy's point, my retort is just, why the fuck now? There's no point. It's just to be annoying.
And I'm with you on that. So, for instance, on one side, people go, if there's no financial loss to you, then why should you care? And that will be one side of it, right? Where you have, hey, let's say Nintendo, right? Nintendo's side is, to us, there is a financial loss in you downloading those games. So let's say the Mr. Dreams Punch Out I mentioned. Nobody's really out there playing that, right? Because they can just go Mike Tyson's Punch Out, which is the known one. If someone's out there downloading these things and stuff like that for Nintendo, even though I'm not financially making any money off of it, it doesn't mean someone else should or that anyone should be able to play it. Now, on the other side, there is no real game preservation from these companies, right? We haven't seen, now Nintendo does have like, hey, we got our N64 lineup, our SNES lineup, and you're starting to have Sony, right? Microsoft and these companies have backwards compatibility with all these games. But there is nothing that is signed, sealed, delivered that say, hey, we are literally bound by law to keep these games available for 50 years or more. If we do not, or if our company goes down for whatever reason, there is some sort of compensation package that has to be put in place for consumers, being that they're losing out on products. Do you think we will ever see any sort of laws? Like we got one recently that we talked about, but do you see we'll see some real effective laws towards consumers against big business?
I don't know, man. I'm not going to go down the whole rabbit hole of lobbying and shit because everyone's got their own opinions on that. But what I will say is, I think, long story short, normal people have their jobs and their own finances and their families to worry about more than this. And I don't think you're going to rally up enough people to make an honest impact on this particular subject. And the people that you do could be very loud, but is their lobbying really hurting Nintendo's bottom line? Probably not, because they've been around for so many years, and the Switch still sells hundreds of millions of consoles and sells millions of games per month. Yeah, I just don't think at the end of the day it's going to really matter. It's people aren't going to, maybe some of us will get into Congress or get into state legislatures, and we could convince others to pass this kind of stuff and maybe do it quick enough before lobbyists could get in and change it, and then they can bitch and moan about the laws all they want. But outside of basically infiltration, I don't think it's going to happen by outside means.
Yo, and Solo, what's going on? He said, "What's the guy who made it a secret agent to touch base with other hackers around the world and then sell out, and thus Nin has so much info now to upgrade." Hey, he said they just giving up all the juice to Nintendo too. Like, hey, by the way, since you're gonna take everything here, this is what I was gonna do when the Switch 2 came out. By the way, you guys can have that too. Who knows? But yo, we got that. Now, is there anything else we left out? I could go through Twitter all day, but that first post I wanted to pull up because that post gained a lot of traction, man. Just based on one guy's stance, feeling that a lot of people are really saying it's just getting free games. But anything that we leave out? Did we get everything out of the way? I know we got a presidential. Do we got something coming up?
Vice presidential in about 55 minutes.
Vice presidential, about 55 minutes, and I know everybody wants to, get to it and get ready and get set up. I know some people may not.
Even if you think you know who you're voting for, there's no harm in watching it. Best case scenario, you start changing your mind. Worst case scenario, you laugh at the person you didn't like to begin with.
Yeah, I agree. Now, if one of them get up there and say, this is not right, what happened with Ryu Jinx, do they gain your automatic vote?
Yeah. If JD Vance or Tim Wall says that, I'm voting for them instantly. And look, I'm not in the swing state. So it doesn't matter. But no, yeah, I will absolutely change or solidify my vote.
Yeah, I'm changing.
Any of them brings up Ryu Jinx.
Yeah, they just come out there like, I know all these candidates are talking about, but no one on this stage has mentioned the terrible stuff Ryu Jinx has had to suffer from the hands of Nintendo. I'm going to say, oh, shit, I'm going to throw my whole head. Give this guy a vote. Give him a vote. Whoever it is, man, that don't matter, man. All right, give him a vote. But nonetheless, man, we had to say that. Anything else you got, Dr. Spam? I think we got everything, man. Unless you want to dive into another bag, other than that, I'm about to eat. I see some food over there, yo.
I was gonna say, man, I gotta work on some stuff right now. But hey, man, let us know how. Let us know if you guys like this Tuesday format. Let us know if this works for you guys better. We're thinking we might. This isn't set in stone. Don't expect it, but we're thinking we might do one extra live stream to talk about some more generic stuff. This just happened today. Figured we focus on it, but yeah, that's all I got. Just make sure like, comment, subscribe, join the Discord, join our cult. Didn't say that last part, and
no, well said, man. That was definitely where it said, yo, Magnus, where the Switch unlock stuff. Yo, Magnus. Now, look, you know what's funny, Magnus? And I'm going to say this before we tune it out, because we are going to leave, and we want to do another show where we cover that, because, this one, the Ryu Jinx stuff hit. Right. But, Magnus, it's funny you mentioned that. I actually reached out to Unlock Switch before this and said I may just bring up information about the extractor and all that. Just, because we're talking about modding. Now I can bring it up in reference, and talk about certain things that they put up. Even if I'm going to keep it real, though. And I told them I'm going to keep it real. Like, we just bless, keep doing your thing, but just know folks waiting on that software. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to hear nothing. They don't want to hear nothing. If it ain't got software, that's what they're saying. But I'm still interested to see, right? I'm still interested.
They are saying, though, that sometime this week they are going to announce the official release date. So
I did see that. So, you know. But let's be honest. Unlock Switch and y'all my dogs. I said a couple things. All right. Just keep it on. Just next time, just set the date. When you set the date, set it in stone. Let me know if it's in stone or not.
Here's something I will say. I'm going to keep it vague, but long story short, they're waiting to get a certain game in, get a certain game cartridge in before they do their extractor reveal, before they do their showcase video. So if you're wondering why there's no video being used yet, they want to show it with a particular game, just because it'll be relevant. I know some of you probably already think you know what it is, but that's what I know so far.
All right, cool. No,
Kickstarter unlock Switch? Fuck no. Nintendo would shut that down in 5 seconds.
Yeah, that's over with. The moment the first backer,
guy,
they're gonna go to every backer's house. Like,
listen, the guy who's making the unlock Switch and the team, they already have money. Long story short, to do this, they wouldn't be doing this if they didn't have some amount of money. So it's sort of a luck of the draw that this is able to even happen. So don't, a Kickstarter will get shut down in 5 minutes, and not everyone will be able to pull this off.
Solo, so thanks.
So,
Stop that Kickstarter, dog. Get them up and running, bro. We need that. I feel you, Solo. You like, hey, they taking too long, man. They need a Kickstarter or something. You know what I mean? What they need, I feel you. But yeah, we're good. We'll cover that too, Magnus. We'll cover that on the next one. We definitely gonna talk about Unlock Switch. We'll probably talk more about the Sony stuff that's going on in the PlayStation scene. Switch 2. We're gonna talk more about the Switch 2, the details of it. What we think's gonna be coming. All that. That's all good stuff. We still gotta cover. You know what I mean? So that trip, man. Other than that, man, I thank y'all. Yo, like he said, also let us know about the format. If you like the Tuesday format, if you want it like this, if you like, Sunday show, we got all the topics, the backgrounds, the musical dance and all that.
I got one thing to add. This just came in, and to totally give a middle finger to something Magnus said earlier. Wololo just messaged me, and his article analyzing this is about to come out. So if you guys want to get a more professional analysis, we'll say, of this, then feel free to check out Wololo's article. I'll throw it in the comments once this is uploaded. It's not up yet on his website. Is it on his website? Is it? Oh, yep, it is. I'm gonna throw that up.
Good. Then everybody can go ahead and take a read. Shout out Wololo. Wololo. We dap up. We go way back. Ajax, Flapjacks, Crackerjacks. Everything. I'll be kickstarting my legs once I hear a knock. Yo, I ain't gonna lie. If they did have a Kickstarter, I would donate. I wouldn't even care if Nintendo come to the house and be like, bro, it was up on Kickstarter. Like, what are you gonna do? Arrest me for donating to Kickstarter?
Supporting a Kickstarter? It's not like I supported like some guy's Kickstarter campaign to go to like fucking kidnap a person.
Yeah,
so.
Thank you. Like, wow, what did I do, bro? Here, like, shit, take me. Okay, I'm gonna be out of there.
Oh, who the fuck's calling me?
Oh, snap. Nah, you good, man. But I'm glad you put that in there. Other than that, man, again, let us know about the format. Appreciate the hell out of everybody. Love the hell out of all y'all. We do Solo, Magnus, everybody in there. I know Shane was in there.
Bro, someone just fucking called me, and I just went, hello, and they just hung up. What an asshole.
Damn. Wasteland. I seen Wasteland come through. Shout out Wasteland. I'll at you in a minute, man. I know you've been off the YouTube thing and all that too. You know what I'm saying? Hope you back. But keep doing your thing. Other than that, man, we out this damn thing.